everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Monday with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. Today, our topic is going to be very interesting. A lot of people have been asking me about master numbers. I even got a call from a gentleman about master number 33. How do you get it? What does it mean? And so I figured that what I would do today is put emphasis on the master numbers, then also review what was some of the things I was sharing the week before, but I wasn't able to show on the screen. But before I do that, let me deal with the today's forecast. Today is Monday the 13th. By the way, please like, share, and subscribe. I will never ever DM you for money or with a message, so don't worry about that. But the fact that today is November the 13th, a Monday, the sun is in Scorpio. The new moon also is in Scorpio. In other words, whenever the sun and the moon are in the same sign at the same time, that's a new moon. It's a 9 universal day. It's an 11 universal week. It's a 4 universal day. And so for those under the signs of Aquarius, Leo, Geminis, and for those that are born on the 1st and the 4th, the 10th and the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, and 31st of the month, well, this should be a significant day. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's so interesting. You know, speaking of the master numbers, this weekend was a master number. It was Veterans Day weekend. It was 11/11. But here's what most people don't know. Not only was this the 11th month and the 11th day, but numerically speaking, it was 11 universal day and it was an 11 universal week. So the alignment of all the master numbers, so if everybody had some very interesting days, to say the least, this late Friday into this Saturday past, I would not be surprised at all. That's for sure. So what are the master numbers? Well, when I started in the 60s, late 60s, there were only two master numbers that were very prominent. First of all, numerology was like, you had to almost be specialized. Everybody was into astrology, and we would have to even walk around with our books in brown paper wraps. You know how you get book covers? Well, the astrology books was covered in book covers. So if somebody showed you with the book, you could tell them it was anything. So fast forward nowadays, there's so many books on the subject of astrology, but numerology was even foreign more so than astrology. But yet the irony is numerology is older than astrology, but nonetheless. So when I got into numerology, there were two master numbers only, 11 and 22. All righty. Nowadays, in fact, if you go to my Learn from Lloyd series, Learn from Lloyd, the next step in numerology, I discussed the double numbers from 11 all the way to 99, thanks to Jazz Aphrodite that assists me in that. And also a link that if you want to see what these double numbers mean. My question has been, at this point in my life, who said they were master numbers? Why did they make them master numbers, especially if you understand the original interpretation of the numbers? Now, in my book, Numbers in You, on page 125, I go into a chapter about the master numbers. I took the birthday, but I also did the name, and maybe that's what I might do this Wednesday is deal with. Then you have more than one number in your name, and also names that have the master numbers in it. Okay. So for example, under the Chaldean system, the name Michael adds up to 22 and other names. But what I would do is start with the master number 11. And how do you get it? There is a certain way of how you add. Now, there's some people that will say, okay, they'll take the month plus the month and day, the date, plus the year and add those across. The way I feel comfortable after all these decades of doing this is to do it by the way they used to do it before, which is put the month at the top, the date underneath it, the year underneath that. You draw your line, add your columns, and add it across, because people say, well, I'm a master number this, I'm a master number that. Well, for me, this is the way I do it. So let's start off with the master number 11, okay? So with the master number 11, all righty? So this is an example of a birthday of how I do it. That is, you got to take March the 31st of 1975, add my columns down, add it across, that's a master number 11. Now, today's meaning of these master number 11s mean magnetic, visionary, inventive, deals on the mental plane. It's very inspirational, things of that nature. But its original interpretation was this is an ominous number to occultists. It gives warning of hidden dangers, trials, tribulations, and treacheries from others, and great difficulties to contend with. Its original symbol was a clenched fist or the muzzle lion. That was the original thing. In fact, I was trying to look for this, but this is the symbol now found in the weight deck of of the tarot deck of the master number 11. And it is, as you see, it is called the card of justice. So as I tell people, when a person is dialing, let me get this straight a second. When a person is dialing 911 on the phone, it ain't about a good time, okay? Because 9 plus 1 plus 1 equals 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that would be considered a master number 11. So, however, it is trials and tribulations, great difficulty to contend with, treachery from others, delays, things of that nature. So normally when you have to dial 911 on the phone, it's not about inviting them over to have a good time. That's for sure. So again, my questioning at this level and years of doing this is, who said, why did they say that the 11 is a master number when I know what the original definition is? Okay, that's my question. So maybe my colleagues and whatnot, or somebody will stumble across it. Like, who said this was? How long did they say this was? These are my questions. So that is it. So again, I'm going to show you the master number 11, the picture symbol. Again, for those who mean it. Now, the month, the day, and the year you're born tells me the why you're here. So when a person has a master number in the month, day, and year they're born, that's like having your master's degree in the school of life. All righty. So again, its original interpretation is ominous to occultists, warnings of hidden dangers, trials and tribulations, treachery, and from others, and great difficulties to contend with. But its original symbol was not this symbol that you see from the weight deck, but it was really a symbol of a clenched fist or a muzzle lion. That is the original symbol. In fact, I could not find it looking at some point today. Now let's go to the master number 22. All righty. So this is how this is added up. All right. Again, you take the month you were born, the day you're born, put that underneath, put underneath that the year of the birth, and then you add those columns down, add it across. And this particular person out there who may be seeing this October the 3rd of 1980 has a master number 22 destiny number. Now, where the 11 is like getting your master's degree in the school of life, my interpretation is the master number 22 is like getting your PhD in the school of life. And one of my favorite students says, to whom much is given, much is required. So it's nice to have these numbers, but if you think it's about just laying back, being a couch potato with your feet up and whatnot, that's not happening. So the present meaning is just very powerful, magnetic, a master builder, and it deals on the mental plane where the 11 deals on the mental plane. All righty. The original interpretation is symbolized as, quote, a good man blinded by the follies of others, with a knapsack on his back full of errors. The original picture symbol is of a man appearing to offer no defense against a ferocious tiger which is attacking him. It's a warning number of illusions, delusions, a good man who lives in a fool's paradise who awakens only when surrounded by danger. And if you notice, what is the symbol at the bottom? The fool. So it simply means that sometimes the way I put it, and I put it to a very dear friend of mine, you got to know what stop to get off. We all take journeys, okay? There's nothing wrong with going in the same direction of another person for a while. But the bottom line is you got to know what stop to get off if this is what you want to do, okay? So that's how it works. Now, as a result, the more recent notion is now I'm a 33. Well, I tried to tell you, over this weekend, I was doing every birthday. Could I imagine the proper way that I feel is the proper way to determine your master numbers? I could not find 33 nowhere up in there. I mean, I went to 99, 9, 9, 1999. That didn't give it to me, things of that nature. But I'll say this, that, let me tell you the symbol of the master number 33. And I think I know how people get it. Okay, here we are with the master number 33. Okay. So notice how I took October the 23rd, 1998, drew my line, added down as 201331, excuse me, which is a 6. I suspect that when people tell me they have the master number 33 in their birthday, this is how they did it. 1 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 8 equals 33. And that way they would be correct. So, I'm not kind of like settled with it. I mean, I know how people are getting it. I know that 33, for example, for any person in the Masonic order, they will tell you when they reach a Shriner, which is 33 degrees, it's a high master. In fact, to be a Shriner, you got to at least be in the Mason, at least 25 years of dedication, set something of value. But the meaning in its present is a master teacher of the highest level, an expression of universal love for service and humanity. If you are going to be a master number 33. Now, there might be a 33 in a person's name. That is quite possible. But I've never seen it in a birthday unless you do it this way. So let's say people do it the shortcut way. They will say a 1. They'll take 10 and reduce it to a 1. They'll take 5, the 23rd, and reduce it to a 5. And then they'll take 27. They will do it that way. And if I'm not mistaken, 1, 5, and 9 is 27. That would be 32, 33. It would be 33 that way. So that would be it. The 33 is very rare to find. The original interpretation of the compound number 33, it says it is steady, reliable, not a particular powerful good or evil. It shows a strong desire to protect others, which is the nature of a 6, is protective, nurturing, mothering, parenting, with a preference for the country rather than city life. The person is dignified, considerate, discriminating, and to the negative is connected with rebellions, riots, and law breaking. So it's very interesting. I was thinking of the 60s, like especially the year of 66, which is double the 33, which this country was in the middle of some riots and demonstrations in this country. The modern interpretation I got is one who exhibits knowledge, passion, and sacrifice to their craft. All righty. So for those of you who are carrying these master numbers or bragging about these master numbers, understand it's nice to have them, but the key is what you're going to do about it if you have them. Because again, the rule is if you got these, then that means that much is required. Now, there's some people who have double master numbers, okay? I kid you not. One is illustrated in my book, and I'm going to illustrate it right now. There will be 2 of them. Okay, so here we go. Now check this out. The first person is born on August the 22nd of 1979. So they have a master number date of birth. And yet when you add the month, the day, and the year, they have a master number, destiny number, or they're in the 11th grade in the School of Life. Now, if the positive side of these is visionary, master builder, that means this person should have an exceptional journey along the course of life. If not, it means at some point they will probably experience trials and tribulations, being misused by the other people, or bad advice or things of that nature. But oftentimes, these are the people that normally grow as a result of their experience. So in other words, if it's going to be a cakewalk for this person, I think not. And in the reverse for the bottom. So you'll have a person born February the 11th, which is a master number, but you take the month, the day, and the year and add it properly, their master number destiny is a 22. So yes, you do have it. You may have it in your birthday, okay? But this, in my interpretation of doing this for decades, is the proper way to determine if you have a master number 22 or 30, 11 or 22. There is no way, and I've done birthdays. I went back as far as I could with all the numbers I could. There's no 899, 888, 1988. You can only go but so far, 30 days in the months and 12 months in the year. And the year I kind of kicked around all kinds of years. There was no way I came up with 33. Now, if any of you in the viewing audience in the Live with Lloyd family know how to do this, can you please submit that so I can share it with the viewers, the Live with Lloyd family? Okay, that's very important. So next on Wednesday, I'm going to show you the master numbers found in the name. See, because the birthday indicates why you're here, and the name tells me what you know. And so we're all here to learn life lessons on this journey from the womb to the tomb. But at the same time, the name that we're given, I've noticed 90% of the time often reflects the birthday of the child. So, for example, the parent of the child that named him. For example, let's say somebody's born on the 20th or number 2. Well, one name that adds up to a 20 is the name Cynthia. So if I see 20, I would say that the person will either carry that name, or they were born under the sign of Cancer, or they were born on the 2nd, the 7th, the 11th, the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. My name, Lloyd, for example, under the Chaldean system, adds up to the number 9. Well, 9 is governed by Mars. Mars governs Aries, which happens to be my father's sign, bless his soul. 9 also rules Mars, which governs the sign of Scorpio, which is my brother, bless his soul. And in a minor way, 9 complements the sign of Leo, which happens to be my sister. So what happens is the name that you possess will often draw to you the zodiac sign of the person or their dates of birth of that person. So let's say we have a person um, that is born on the 20th. They will normally draw to them other people whose dates will be a 2 or a 7. Sometimes a 6 will be drawn to them too. It all depends on what month the 20th day of the month is found in the 12 signs in the zodiac. So there is a lot to this. And so this leads to the review question of what number are you? Well, you are composed of several numbers. At last Monday, I didn't have the chart up where you could visually see what I was trying to express. So hopefully this will help. So for example, um, this is the way that when I say what master number are you, this comes from the date of birth. It represents the why you are here. The month, day, and year represents the long range effect of your birthday over time from the womb to the tomb. So in this case, when I look at December the 24th of 1984 and factored it down, it adds across to the number 4. So this person's in the 4th grade. So when I started out in numerology, I would do everybody's month, day, and year, and I would tell them what that means. And some of them would say, yeah, that was especially when I was talking to more mature, older folks. But the young ones in their teens and 20s and 30s, up in the 40s, and they were like, yeah, but, you know, that's when I found that the date of birth is more immediate. So if you did your birthday, the month, the day, and the year, that tells me the long range effect of the school you're in the school of life and the lesson to be learned from the journey, from the time we get here to the time we reach the other side of the rainbow. But it is your date of birth that gives me more the immediate barometer. It's the number that points the north in the North Star in your chart, so to speak, numerical chart. So I'll show you this. So now we have the same birthday. This is more short range, where the month, day, and year is more long range. It determines not only your key numbers, your days, your dates, your months, your years, and ages of important changes. Believe me, I don't get this from the year you're born, at the month and day and year, the destiny number. I get this information from your date of birth. So when a lot of you when I'm answering you, and as soon as I see your date of birth, yes, I know your sign is important, but your birth date is more immediate to me. That's why I can tell certain things about your characteristics, attractions, health indications, this, that, and the other, months, days, ages, years of important changes, milestones in your life. All of that comes again from the person's date of birth. And in this case, this is the 24th day of the month. So the long range birthday of this person is a 4, but the more short range, the more immediate that gives me my marker as to which direction this person is going is the date of birth in this case, which is a 6. All righty. So then there's another phase of this too. which are the formative years. So what I'm saying is, yes, you got your birthday, but there are a lot of factors that has to be taken into consideration. So when you see any numerologist that's really doing this, you'll see that you're not just one number, you're composed of several numbers, and some will be more prominent, which is why I take a person through a Q&A to make sure that they have an understanding, to question them. And what I do is I'll have them write down the information, then I'll ask them questions to underscore it. It is the most amazing thing to see. And it shows you there is order in your universe, despite the wars, the drama, the confusion, the nonsense and whatnot. Every one of you have a course direction to take with your life if you really understood your birthday. So I would recommend that you get in touch with any of the numerologists that's been guests on my shows, or any numerologist, period, that you may know. Books are one thing, videos are one thing, YouTube's are one thing, but it's always best to go to professionals like myself, and especially the numerous guests I've had on talking about numerology. So we've taken the same person's birthday, December the 24th, 1984. However, it's broken into three divisions. The first one is your formative cycle. Now, this deals with the early part of your life, your education, your parental environment, things like that, your childhood friends, your childhood environment, things of that nature. All of this affects how, this is why they call it the formative cycle, and it goes from the time you get here, zero. By the way, when you come out the womb, you're not 1 year old, okay? You might be 1 day old 24 hours later, but you're not 1 year old until 365 days has gone by around that cycle. Then you reach your first one. So if a person says, well, do you come out at age 1? No, you come out at age 0. As soon as you come out the womb, that's it. You start out with an O. All right. Then you progress to go to 1, 2, 3, up until 28, which is called the first solar return. Some call it lunar return. And it's so interesting because in a woman, the average cycle of a woman's monthly cycle is 28 days, which I think is interesting. Then the middle number, which is the date of birth, is the most important because that's when you come of age, between that 29th and 56th birthday. That's when you find your job, find your career, step out on faith, get married, move to one location to another, lay the foundation to important businesses. That's why this is the most busiest time in the phases of your birthday. So if you're in between there and you wonder why you got to pay these bills and why you got to pay mortgage, why you got to do this, that, and the other, that's one of the reasons. And then we carve out what we want to be. Normally in our formative years, we don't know. We're like kids, and that's why, first of all, normally you don't do things until you are 21 years old. That's when you are 3 times 7, which means you are legal to make decisions, to sign contracts. Anything after that, because everything is division of sevens. The first 7 years division of reason. The second 7 years division of puberty. The third 7 years the several of where you deal with legal matters, and the 7 times 7 is the climactic period when one reaches 49 years old. That's normally very challenging. And then there is the year you're born, which is the harvest cycle that tells me how you reach the end of your rainbow. And so what that does, that goes from ages 57 until the end of when we hit the other side. All righty. And so that's how that happens. Then there's another phase. See, that's why I'm saying you're more than just a number. There is one main number. That's from the date of birth. But there are other several numbers in the background that guides us. That this is why when you talk to the astrologers I have on numerologists that come on that know their stuff, they will be able to explain. Brother Rebels Bear is one of the best at breaking this down. I got to give props to Simon. King Simon took it to a whole nother level. Jazz Aphrodite, Brandon Smith, Kaya French, all these people I know that I've had on my show took all of these to a whole nother level. And there's always room to discover because no one knows everything. When you know everything, that's when I watch. Then there's another phase in your birthday called the Pinnacles. Now, these are the high points that take place in the life. Now, if you look over the 12, which is the month of birth, that is a 9. Why? Because the first rule is you add the month to the day. So 12 to 24 adds to 36, and 2 plus 6 is 9. Now, here are my questions. Who determined the pinnacles? Who determined the challenges? Who determined what they mean? There's an excellent book by Juno Jordan, The Romance in Your Name. to break down the pinnacles and everything like that, that is very excellent to see what happens. But you all go through phases. If you're born on some month, some day, some year, you will go through these pinnacle phases. And Jazz Aphrodite, the moderator that does Monday's show, is the best edit interpretation as far as I know. And I've met many, many people, but she just tend to be giving props where props are due. That's how my dad raised me. Okay. Give it where it due. She's one of the best. So if you want to know your highlights, and so if you look at the over the year, what I did was I had to add the month of birth to the year of birth, and I added to a 1. Now to get the third pinnacle in the center, the top one, the second one, I had to add the first pinnacle to the second pinnacle. That gave me 10. And then finally, to get the very last pinnacle or the highlight in the life, you have to take the month and you add it to the year. Who worked this out? I don't know. That's why I'm saying there's always room for growth, but it seems to fit in a very fantastic way. Now, on the reverse side, there are the challenges. These are the low points. These are the pitfalls. These are the valleys of your life and how they will occur. So in this case, what I did, so instead of adding the numbers to build the pyramid of the pinnacles, you use the numbers to subtract. So I'll reduce 3, which is 12, 24, which is a 6. So 6 minus 3 equals 3. That's the first challenge. Then the second challenge comes from the month, subtracting it from the year. Then the third challenge comes from subtracting 3 from the 2, which is a 1. And then the last one from the year itself. There is an art form to this. So you're more than just a number. You have a main number, true, but you are more than just one number and one number alone. And then there are the other numbers that I talk about all the time, which I talk about the personal year, the personal months, the personal week, the personal days. Now, all of you heard that, but believe me, when you go into depth, you have your valleys, you have your peaks, you have your cycles of life, what phase you in, what depending, because even in cardology, they will tell you, okay, you could be a 9 of diamonds, for example, but what age are you? So are you in that formative cycle, productive or harvest cycle, for lack of a better way of putting it? All righty. And again, this is it. The short range is from your date of birth. The long range is definitely from the total of the month, the day, and the year. So it all depends on how you're looking at your half glass of water. It's half empty, half full, long range, short range. So that's it. That's it. There's more. And believe me, your names have master numbers. Let me tell you, that's why I got caught up into this anyway. I says, man, the numbers only go from 1 to 9. I got 10 fingers. I got this. Man, that thing got a hold of me, and it's been a beautiful journey ever since. Plus, I'm a little nosy too, so that didn't help at all. Like, what? How could you know this? And so people have often told me, oh, somebody told you about me, right? No, I've just been doing this so long. I've learned the art and skill of how to interpret the numbers when I find them. This is exactly what my students do. This is exactly what those other numerologists in this profession do, has been doing it for a long time. Now, some are better at articulating it better than others. So you can get an astrologer and you can do 10 charts with 10 astrologers. It is the art of interpretation that makes it clear to the person. Me, I've learned to keep it simple, because when I wrote my book in 1987 and 97, I think the reading grade level in this country was about second grade, third, fourth grade. It definitely was in the fifth grade. And unfortunately, I think it's even worse, okay? Because people don't like to read, and it's going to cost you dearly not reading. So this is all I'm saying. So with that, let me go to the comments and see what we got. And no, let me say this. I don't know everything. I am still learning, such as who said these were master numbers, especially when you see the original interpretations of them. Danger, and especially, let me give you an example too. The 16 in the tarot deck is called the lightning struck tower. It is a symbol of a man being struck by lightning with a crown on his head, falling to the ground, holding his master plans with him, and his servant falling down to him. So a lot of these interpretations that I'm having, 11 and 22 and 33 and all these other numbers, actually coming from the tarot deck. However, there is the major arcana, which is 22 decks. Now, the 22 decks in the first 22 cards in the major arcana deals with the more spiritual side that's affecting man's nature. The other decks, the other 56 decks, the other 56 cards, which is the minor arcana, affects you in the material world. So, for example, wands affects your business and career. The cups affects your love life. The swords affect the conflict and drama and trauma you will have. And the pentacles affects your money and possessions. All right. So this is why I'll have the tarot readers on to give their art of interpretation. And they're the best as far as I'm concerned, which is why I have them on. I'm not going to have them embarrass themselves. And so when I feel that they're good, they come on, as you see. So there is an art to all of these things. But I just noticed that when they talk about the master number 22, the major arcana on the tarot deck, and I discussed the tarot in my book Numbers in You Too, but not no detail. I'm not a tarot expert. I know tarot experts, but what I wanted to do was show you whether it's palmistry, which I might talk about one day, whether it's the tarot, whether it's the I Ching, whether it's this, that, and other. They're all related. They're all intertwined with each other. That's how it goes, okay? And I found that out with cardology through my first experience with Aquarius Maximus, then her mother, Nina Diamond, and then eventually I found out a lot of people were in the cards, to my pleasant surprise. So they're all related, believe me or not. All righty, so with that, I'm going to turn my attention to the comments, and I'm going to do, and to all of you, thank you very much. This first person, Gloria, Miss Gloria, she says her life path is a 9. So whatever that is, that means the month, the day, and the year she born factors out to a 9. So that tells me she's in the 9th grade in the school of life. So along her journey, from the time she gets here to the time she reaches the other side of the rainbow, so to speak, this is a humanitarian lesson to be learned, a humanitarian lesson to be exercised and acknowledged. And 9s are normally global, universal, international, motivational, inspirational. People in the 9th grade normally like to be the masters of their fate or the captains of their ship. Normally, in the course of their journey, they will attract to them Aries and Scorpios, in a minor way, Leos, or those whose birthday adds up to the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month. And 9 people with a 9 destiny are feisty too. I meant to tell you that. Okay. So don't mess with Miss Gloria unless you want to get your feelings hurt. Anyway. So now we'll take SKJ, born on March the 4th. Any insight for 2024? Yes. First of all, 2024 adds up to an 8. 8s and 4s are always drawn to each other. All righty. Sometimes the rule is both numbers, though, tend to be misunderstood. Of all the numbers from 1 to 9, 8s and 4s tend to be misunderstood. Yet they're drawn to each other. But yet at times in drawing to each other, there can be some fatalistic interactions between them. A lot of drama, misunderstandings, a whole lot of things that's negative. So the rule of thumb is, yes, 8s and 4s can be drawn to each other. But as soon as you find there's some drama or conflict or things that are kind of fatalistic or potentially fatalistic, the point is to distance yourself, to give yourself some space. So in your case, though, you will be entering a 6 personal year. And since 6 is your main opposition to the 4, that tells me adjustments are on the map. And in fact, don't forget, the month of October, just last month, was our preview month that gives us a sneak preview. So one thing it tells me, probably last month, KS, did you probably change your hair? Did something about your weight? Go back to school, make some adjustments in the home or in relationships. But since 6 are kind of challenging to the number 4, it just simply means don't overextend yourself. Don't be overly stubborn. Don't be overly stingy. Don't be overly controlling more than anything else. And you'll find that you will probably do better. But some adjustments are going to be in order. That's for sure. And because 6 is a health cycle, that means you might be challenged with mood swings, which is nature of a 4, being misunderstood by people, especially the medical profession, which is atypical of number 4 people, and it relates to the medical field, things of that nature. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. All right, now, so let me see something. This person here says, wow, is the name. And they said this is their third life, or their third life, I guess, live. Wow, I'm a number 11. So let me see if that's true. That's 12, 31. And this is the only time I'll use it. I'm just trying to see and verify if that is true. So that's 13029. Hold up. December the 31st of 1984. Okay, so that's 22, 4, and that's 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I do that right? If I did that right, I'm sure. Oh, yes, I did. And you are absolutely correct. 6, 7. Yes, you would be under a master number 11. Now, don't forget, the master number 11 is the long range, but your date of birth, the 31st, is more short range. That's more immediate to me. So it means over the period of time, you start getting your master's degree in this time. But it's like all other things, it's how well you learn your lessons. You can be in any grade, but don't forget, people fail grades too and get left back and got to repeat them. So it all depends on how astute and how determined and observant you are to make the best of this life you're in, because you only got one of them. All righty. So with that being said, I would go more to your immediate birthday, which is coming up in about a month and a half, which would be a 4. So to me, your birthday would be a 4, 1, and 8, because not only are you a 4 because it's been for the 31st, but and thanks, Jazz Aphrodite, that's right. Because normally, rarely do I kind of like to do things in my head, but then again, I just wanted to make sure. So when I responded to this person, I know that I can confirm it. And while you're welcome too, yes, you are. So that means too much is given, much is required, but don't forget, 11 to a degree denotes trials and tribulations, great difficulties to contend with, hidden dangers, trials, and treacheries. Okay. And it doesn't mean that you might be free, but there's no set for everybody. Again, 16, the tower, the struck lightning struck tower, man. When I read about that, boy, I said, "Oh wow!" It denotes danger and defeat of plans, disappointment in love and marriage, dangers from the natural forces, etc., etc., etc. But who hasn't had some disappointments in love and marriage? Who haven't had defeats in their plans and whatnot? That's why they say the best laid plans go astray. So don't forget, these images that are talking about are symbolic. And if you understand, but I tell you this, if you're living on the best side of your nature, you shouldn't have much of these problems. But if you got that kind of life where you scamming, lying, blocking people's blessings, interfering because you ain't got nothing else to do with your time, then yes, it's going to come back on you. So all of these karmic numbers, and in fact, I might talk about the karmic numbers because there's several karmic numbers like 14, 16, et cetera, which means you pay a price if you don't handle your business. Okay. So that's what I am seeing for you. And your key numbers again are the 4, 1, and 8, which means your best days are always on a Sunday, a Monday, and a Saturday. All righty. Whoever it is, they've got to wait. Okay. Boy, do I have. Thank you. So anyway, folksies, let me go back and see what we got here. And I thank everybody for this. By the way, I want to thank uh, GT-OD for the donation. Thank you very, very much for that. Suzanne says in her case, her life path is a 6 and her first name is a 6, Suzanne. So it all depends on how she did that. So that's 15, 16. I'm looking at that 16, 26, 27, 28. Now I'm doing under the Chaldean system, so maybe she's doing it under the Pythagorean system. And if so, that simply means that anytime your destiny or birth path number, whatever it is, adds up to your name, that means you're self-taught, because think of the name as the teacher and your date of birth as the student. Why you're here to learn. If you're here to learn, obviously you're a school in life. Okay. The whole thing is to find your teacher. So there's some people that are blessed to be self-taught by the interpretation of the numbers in their name. And if you are correct, Suzanne and Jazz Aphrodite, my moderator will confirm that for me. I think I'm almost sure this looks like this is done under the the Pythagorean system of the 1 to 9. And if so, that would be correct. I think it would add up to about 24 because I'm looking at it. But anyway, I'll let her figure that out. So what it simply means, if that is the case, you'll hear about service from the womb to the tomb at some point. Normally, people with a 6 destiny or 6 in their name goes into 3 major areas. One is the arts, thinking about being a singer, dancer, musician, painter, actor, actress, whatever the case is, Suzanne. That's one. They then drift into the world of business, thinking about being a lawyer or going into real estate or going into banking or working for the government in some capacity at some way. Or the third one that ultimately, with 6 destinies and 6 names, they ultimately wind up being of service to humanity and the community. Teachers, social workers, nurses, counselors, professors, psychiatrists, psychologists. They're always about service to humanity. Okay. So if that's the case, and I notice about 6s, since 6 rules education, this explains why you would always be a work in progress. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing there for you, young lady. All righty. Now this is Jayla Roberts. Thank you very much, Jayla. They're born 12/18/1998. Could it mean something if you keep seeing 44 everywhere? Well, yes, to a degree. When you see a number repeated, it tells me subconsciously. I have in my book, Numbers in You, numerology and thought reading. So, for example, if you're seeing 44 everywhere you go, subconsciously, it tells me that it's about coming of age, looking at things in a different set of lens of what role you've been playing on life stage. It rules money, power, authority, achievement, and recognition. It rules death or rest from labor. It rules separations. It also rules people who may be a Capricorn or a Aquarius, in a minor way, exaltation, a Libra, all born on a date such as the 4th or the 8th, the 13th, the 17th, the 22nd, 26th, or 28th of the month. But since it's beta 4s, 4 is about 8, it's about building. And in fact, the compound number 44, which was the president position of Barack Obama, it normally is a very favorable a double or compound number. Now, if you want to get a good idea, you can pick up Jazz Aphrodite's Numbers Decoded, Cards Unfolded. She took and put the double numbers in there for what they mean. All righty. But it could mean some money. Who knows? But looking at your birthday, to be very honest with you, you're going into is that a master number 11 year? No. Yes, it's possible you could be going in a master number 11 year, which means visionary things, wanting to make a transition in your life. But if, let's say, for example, it's just a 2, it just simply means that there's going to be a transition where you're living, where you're working, and then the degree with certain relationships, one degree to another. When people enter in the cycle that you're about to enter next year, it simply means that that's going to be a time where you're going to be making serious adjustments about your dietary laws and things of that nature. But since you're a fire sign with a fire number, and since this combination of both fire by element, fire by number, is about like hot and spicy and peppery things that almost make your tears run down your eyes and stuff like that. They're like hot, right? You may have to toss and turn with a little dietary indigestion, stuff like that. But your key numbers born on December the 18th are the 9, 3, and 6, and your best days are always on Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. All righty. But if you keep seeing 44, somewhere there's money, somewhere there's people from your past, and somewhere you want to come of age, or there could be some. And by the way, since it's 44, which is an 8, 8 rules pregnancy too. I ain't trying to start no stuff, but I'm just saying all these numbers are symbolic. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks for the donation too. That was fun. All righty. Okay. And I always want to thank my guest, Jazz Aphrodite, and please get the thumbs up, because if not, I got to hear it and I don't want to hear it. Okay. And to my buddies, Stephen and Carol Williams, they are the best. They've been supporting me from day one out of Chicago. I do appreciate that. And to my beautiful daughter, she has been my secret source to always help me. When the lights have gone out, when something has happened, she's kind of been here to kind of helped get me through this. So I thank my daughter very, very much. I'm very, very lucky with my babies. I mean, they big, but they still my babies. That's how I roll with this. Okay, so here we got Princess 4K444. Now, no wonder she's born on the 4th of November. She's also born at 2020, which is a 4. So that means military time. So that means she was born at 10:20 p.m. Alrighty. Anyway, looking at her birthday, well, if I let her destiny number, which is 7, 11, is that right? 7, 11, 12, 13. Her destiny number is a 4. Not only is her long range number a 4, her short range number is also a 4. Okay. And so I think that's interesting. 4 people tend to be misunderstood, always the rule. So in her case for next year, she will be entering what is called a 7 personal year. No, did I do that right? Nope, she'll be entering a 5 personal year. That's what she's going to be entering in. What she has to be careful is of the year of 2025 when she's entering into a 6 personal year. All right, but right now she's ready to pivot. She's ready to kind of get off the dime. She's worked real hard. She's put in the work, shoulders to the wheels, maybe did a little sacrifice, but now she wants some breathing room. So I would tell anybody that dealing with Princess K444 to give her some space. All right, let her breathe because that is her attitude right now. But her key numbers are the 4, 1, and 9, and Sundays and Tuesdays are always her best days. All righty. And Monique Jackson, thank you so much too. And also Tiffany for gratitude. And see now, CK said she's a master number 22. That's possible. But I haven't done that in my head. Maybe my moderator can confirm that from the date of birth, whether you actually are in a 22. I've got a feeling you may not be, not unless of how you did your numbers. But either way, be that as it may, I thank you. Now, this is Leroy Brown. Now, Leroy Brown is 7782. All righty. So if I look at it, 5, he has a 7 destiny. He has a 7 destiny. He's in the 7th grade in the School of Life. That's what he is. Okay. That is exactly what he's in. If I did my numbers right, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So that means you, Leroy, are in the 7th grade in the School of Life, born in the 7th month on the 7th day. All this means in your grade of life in the 7th grade is about learning and researching and being very philosophical. Normally, people in the 7th grade or have 7s like you normally go into the world of the unseen, so to speak, occultism, metaphysics, religion, philosophy, things of that nature, esoteric. They wind up being healers and things of that nature. It also means you would do well with deep research, and simply means you should not just take everybody's word for value. Just because they said it so, don't mean it's so. Because sometimes a lot of people don't tell the truth. But it tells me this, Leroy, you will always be very analytical. And when I looked at your first name, that's 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that means the name Leroy, because I did it under Chaldean system right quick. Yep, that would be 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it tells me one of your parents was either Aries, Scorpio, Leo, are born on the 9th, 18th, or the 27th of the month. And it tells me you may have a kind of a military mindset. When I say military, that means assertive and a desire to control your own destiny, or may have had a desire to go into the military or law enforcement or construction or fire or EMS or be an excellent tool machinist or mechanic. But whatever it is, you are the best at what you do. I can tell you that. If you played your cards right, normally 7s are the most best in whatever field they chose to do. All righty. So anyway, your numbers are the 7, 2, and 6, which are all psychic numbers, and your best days are always on Mondays and Fridays. Thank you. All right, let me go through this a second. Try to keep up with the time. Mariah Harris, thank you so much. She is May 15th of 1992. She says her life path is a 5. Her name is a 5. Her karmic number is 14 of 5. Now, let me tell you who knows how to do this well. The lady that's moderating this show tonight, Jazz Aphrodite. I'm telling everybody, Jazz Aphrodite, if you don't mind, can you please give your link so people can reach out to you to set up appointments to find out about their pinnacles, their challenges, their karmic numbers, such as 14, which is one of them. All right. But with all these fives, it simply means that you are a good learner, great student in school, always a work in progress, always evolving, always wanting to be better. Probably walked before you were 1 year old, things like that nature. So if I do Mariah in my head, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a 4. Which means at times, if I did it correctly, and I did this in my head quickly, as you see, under the Chaldean system, not the Pythagorean, that means that sometimes you're at odds with yourself at times, loving, sharing, and caring, yet prefer to be your own best company at times. Very traditional, very conservative, and yet sometimes very rebellious, going against the rules and regulations of wherever you're working or whatever the case is. No, you're not a Jekyll and a Hyde. It's just that your birthday and your name are exhibiting two numerical characteristics of expression. That's all it is. So there's nothing wrong with that. To thine own self be true, as this one says. And so once you know that, so if you came to me about a change of name, the one thing I would do is add a double R. I would say Marriah. That would change it from 13 to 15, which matches your name exactly. Okay. So that's what that would do. So that's why when people come to me with change your name, they think it's going to be all exotic and this, that, and the other. It's still the same because people are creatures of habit. What I mean, Mariah, let's say you said you wanted to change your name, and I changed it to my sister's name, Barbara. And you go back and you say, well, everybody, my name is Barbara. You know what they're going to say? Okay, Mariah, because we are creatures of habit. So it's in English, they call it synonyms, where the words sound the same, but it's spelled differently, like a bear, an animal, and a bear with no clothes on. Okay, barely got anything on. All right. So it all depends on how things are working. This is why you got to understand your English and your math, which has always been a challenge in our community, and I think is more deliberate by nature than natural and organic. That's not how we roll. We're the most greatest dynamic people on the planet. So that's what I'm saying. All right, all right, all right. It's spelled this way. Is a 5 in the Chaldean. So Jazz Aphrodite just confirmed that for me. And Suzanne says, "Oh, interesting. Yes, 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 yes." So let me go back a little bit. Um, this is OGOT. She made a donation. Thank you. She says Albert Einstein, George Washington, so and so and so and so, all had a life path. Our life path 33. See now, I'm trying to figure out like Einstein is born on March the 14th. George Washington is born on uh, February the 22nd. Pam Grier is born on May the 26th. Barry Gordy is born on November 28th. Michael Jordan is born on February the 17th. Charles Lucky Luciano, I don't know. That's getting into the thing. I know Thomas Jefferson was born on February the 11th. Dr. Dre was born on the 9th of June. James Brown was born on May the June. Elijah Muhammad was born October the 7th. John Gotti, I forgot his birthday. I got so many birthdays in my head, but I don't know how they're all 33s. See, and I need to know, if you don't mind, could you send in to us, GTOD, how you got, they all got 33. So I don't remember all their years. I just know the months and dates primarily for most of them. So what I'm saying, if you can do that, that would be great. But thank you, thank you, thank you very much for the donation. Much appreciated. And if people can make a donation physically, you can make a donation with a thumbs up. Okay, do that. Do that. It's 2 thumbs up. Okay. All right. So anyway, thanks, LT. GDOT. Thank you. Thank you. So let's see what we got here. This is Tiffany Harrison. Thank you very much. I want to acknowledge she didn't give a birthday. Let me see. I'm looking at my time. I don't have much time, but I do want to thank all of you who take the time to see the show. But it was very important that because a lot of people ask me about these master numbers. I'm master number this, master number that. My question is, how did you get it? And at the level in the years I've been doing it, my question becomes, with that being the case, who determined that they were master numbers in the first place? Why did they say they were master numbers in the first place? Okay. Especially if you understand the original symbolic meaning of these numbers in the first place. All right. So who would do that? Um, anyway, let me see. El Solo Ojo, July 17th. This person, so let's see what their destiny number would be. That's a um, 5, 5, 1. I think their destiny might be 11 or 2. So it all depends. I'm doing this in my head. So right now I'm going to say 2. But if I did it, everything, it might be an 11 or whatever the case is. I'll put it like this. You have a choice, and here's how you know. If the month, of day, and the year you're born is an 11, El Solo, that simply means you've always been about the desire to elevate yourself to the next level and raise those in your energy, in your space, in your environment to the next level with you too. If you just a 2 destiny, and don't forget, every school plays its part, that simply means that you would be a kind of a person that would bring people together. You would be able to mend fences, to to see the collective on both sides of a situation. That's why you would make an excellent negotiator. That's why you would also do well when in preparations of food. You would do well in the mechanical, mathematical sciences, computers, technology, engineering. You would also do like the number 6 in the well of service, psychologist, psychiatrist, Reiki master, herbologist, things of that nature. And it does tell me you're very old spiritually. So if you've ever had relationships coming up with persons a little older than what is normally the case in your at your time coming up, that would not surprise me at all. All righty. So anyway, your lucky numbers are the 8, 2, and 7. And you'll find that Saturday, Monday, and Fridays are your best days. Okay, I'm going to read about 2 more, and then I'm going to get off this phone. Um, this person, Kaya Yusa, says, each one teach one, and you live an example. Thank you very much. I try. Each soul you taught planted a seed, grow, and taught another one. Thank you very much for that. Really, I get a chance to see these only after the show is over. Okay. Uh, when I can get a chance to look at all of them. And I did Charla, right? I did that. Okay. Okay. Here's a master number 22. Yes. Okay. They're born in 1977, which is a 6, 1, 6, and 4 is 1. And did I do that right, Lloyd? Okay. That's the year of the 6, and that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. So your destiny is 822, if you're correct. See, again, I'm just doing it out of my head, but the way I do it technically, I'll do it on paper. I'll put the month at the top, the date underneath. So if you put the month and the date underneath, you know what that tells me? You are a double master number. That's exactly what it is. In the cases with examples I gave at the top of the show, one had a master number 11 in the date of birth, and an 11 in the total of the month, the day, and the year, and vice versa. If that's the case, you are an exception because your date of birth would be a 22, and the month, the day, and the year you're born would add up to a 22. So that means you're here for extra special things, but also the original meaning, it means a good person that has to be careful. Because the original thing is that it's a person blinded by the follies of others, which is why the 22nd card in the tarot is called the Fool. And it's not that you will fool yourself, but to be fooled by other people with the wrong intentions. As long as you understand that, you'll be all right. But your key numbers are the 4, 1, and 8. And your best days are always on a Sunday, a Saturday, and a minor way, a Monday. But it means also, Carrie, you will be very, very visionary. And it's so interesting because when I look at your first name, you've got 3 2s in your name. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10. Really? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it tells me one of your parents could have either been a Sagittarius, Pisces, or born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. All right. And the fact that you were conceived in 1977 is a good clue that one of your parents could have either been a Taurus or Libra too, which is, as I say, none of my business. But that's what that means. And of course, if you were born on December the 22nd, that means you were conceived in March of 1975. Check with your mom. She probably says, how you know? But that's how it goes, okay? So anyway, I want to thank you very, very much. My time is up. I will see you Wednesday, okay? I'm going to do one more thing, and that is look for the 22 in the name, how to find it, what does it all mean? But hopefully this clears up that question that people have asked me about the master number this, the master number that. That's how I get it. Everybody's got their own way. I am open to learn. I'm open to discover other people's concepts. All righty. And so in the meantime, I do want to thank all of you very much. This has been fun. Okay. I had a nice time personally, as I always do with you. And I thank you very much for taking your valuable time to catch up and see the show, because you did not have to. You could have been doing something else with your time. But in the meantime, please sign up for my free monthly newsletter. It is out. So take advantage of it. It is absolutely free. Okay. You don't have to spend a penny. All right. To do this. Let me just do something 1 second. Good. So the newsletter is absolutely free. All right. The next, please sign up for my a Star 8. It's a numerology app that is both on both platforms of Android and Apple. And again, if you have problems loading it up, just go to astar8.com. And for those of you who have logged on or downloaded the app and you have some little challenges or not quite understanding it, please let me know so I can send your comments or suggestions to the developers. So I want it to be as tight as possible. And I need to thank Ms. Kimberly Williams, especially for getting me blown up on TikTok. I mean, I never even thought about TikTok. And anyway, I'm kind of glad it's kind of new, because a lot of the show that you see has been broken into snippets to make it more digestible, so more people can just capture the essence of my shows and what I'm doing. All right. So everybody, there's much more, but that's it for the meantime. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. All righty. And let me see something here. Okay. Everybody, I want you all to have a nice day. Please take good care of yourselves. I'll see you Wednesday, and we will do your name and see whether it's a master number 22. I'll show you how it's done. What does it mean? Who you draw to you, because your name is what draws the people to you by way of their zodiac sign or date of birth. The name is just as powerful as the birthday, more so. Okay, everybody, have a nice day.